sacrifice. It's in the genetics. It's like a software program playing through them, and therefore, I've said so many times over the last 21 years since I started going into all this, if people perceive what these bloodlines would do on the basis of what they themselves would or would not do, you've completely lost the plot. Because if we could look through the eyes, Alex, of these hybrid bloodlines, the Rockefellers, the Royals, the Rothschilds, etc., we would be beyond shocked at the way they were perceiving reality compared with the way most humans perceive reality. You see, one of the things, this is a really important point, one of the things that this software program, I'm calling these hybrid bloodlines, one of the key things that's been deleted from them is empathy. The ability to feel for the consequences and the feelings of others that you put in terrible positions. That empathy is a fail-safe mechanism for human behavior, because we look in a child's face, Alex, and the thought of sacrificing that child, the thought of terrorizing that child, of sexually abusing that child, the very empathy alone deletes anything.
No, it's more than that. Possible. It's more than that. I'm like Tony Montana. I'm ready to kill anybody who wants to hurt a child. I don't have a lust for violence and things like that, except when somebody's hurting a child. I'm ready to kick 20 people's ass, David. The thought of somebody hurting a child, I'm ready to stomp 20 people on the ground. And I'm not a tough guy, but I'm ready to absolutely open a can of clobbering in time. And so I can't, and that's why good people are blind. We can't imagine that the evil is even into this.
Yeah, the point I'm making is, though, that process of feeling empathy for the suffering of the child, they do not have the ability to feel that. This is the key, because this hybrid genetics has deleted that. It's deleted it on purpose, because you don't want people representing your horrific agenda for humanity if they have a conscience. The last thing that you want, because that's going to make it much more difficult to get those people.
So in your research, I would have zero of this hybrid stuff if I feel absolutely violent towards anybody who wants to hurt a child.
Well, no, what I would say is, if you have a feeling that you can hurt people, and anybody, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about in general, hurt people, and not have any feelings for the what they are suffering, what they are feeling as the result of your actions, well, that is a lack of empathy. And this is why pepper bombing Baghdad, pepper bombing Libya, Tripoli, Sirte, full of civilians, killing 2,000 people on 9/11. For the rest of us, the feeling of empathy with their suffering, with their trauma, with
it's
their
overwhelming.
Horror,
it's torture.
With the parents and the loved ones of people on 9/11, that alone would stop us even thinking or dreaming about doing it. You delete that, Alex, there are no limits, there are no buffer stops on behavior, and because there are no emotional
Well, let me expand on that, though. Have you seen the little 3-year-old girl with the whole lower mandible blown off with the tongue hanging out, screaming in panic and pain? For us, that's torture, but you're saying for the Illuminati, that's music. Look,
Alex. Let's look at this again in a very simple way. If you are capable, without empathy, without feeling, to sacrifice a child and go through the ritual that builds up and builds up and builds up to it, building systematically the terror in that child, are you going to give a damn about a child blown apart by a NATO bomb? No, you're going to think it's great. You're going to think it's fun. In so many ways, mate, that little 12-second clip of Hillary Clinton glorifying in the death of Gaddafi that has been going around the internet, that absolutely, in a very, very encapsulated 12-second way, very mild compared with what they do in the shadows.
We came, we saw, he died.
Encapsulated these people's attitude to the human population.
Yeah, we came, we saw, he died. And the reporter giggles with demonic pleasure.
I know.
Hillary, and the word is, They had agreed to have him surrender. Hillary was what the sign. She landed. They set him up. He came out in a white flag, and they killed him.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, until we breach this chasm and realize what we're really dealing with, a level of what people call evil. I mean, that's even a word that doesn't describe it. A level of darkness of beyond our imagination to comprehend where the depths that they're coming from. That is the power that is running NATO, that is running governments, that is running the banking system. This is why, let's look at this again, this is why they'll crash the banking system to get a massive problem to which they can advance their agenda with a solution. Look at the people in tent cities across America. I could bloody cry when I see it. And decent people with their families who are out of work and can't pay their mortgage because of the banks who then come across and take their house away. And they can do that. They can look at the television every night and see this stuff and go on the internet, and they can see the suffering of vast numbers of people in Greece, in America, and all over the world. They can see the unbelievable suffering in what's become the third world, where they make their products for cents on a dollar in starvation wages in sweatshops, and then ship them across the world and charge as much as they can get for them. They can do that. They can do all of that. This is the mentality that's behind it. The same mentality that can sacrifice a child will have no problem doing that to vast numbers of people.
Well, David, it's more than that. And this is why I want to close with you in the last 5-6 minutes we have left. The genetic engineering, the UN releasing mosquitoes that forcibly inoculate us, Bill Gates making jokes about killing grandma to create 10 jobs, the reduction in fertility, the autism exploding, this culture of death. I want David Icke to tell us now, you know, whatever these psychopaths are, they might as well be blood-drinking whatevers. I mean, they're psycho demons, whatever they are, who don't have empathy and who don't have a soul and who are my eternal enemy. What is their end game? You say they're running out of time, but if they had their way, what are we facing? What's coming up, this great challenge? What do they want to set up in this world? Because no doubt the awakening's happening. They're coming in both feet down, trying to keep us down. David Icke, what are we about to see? What is their end game? And how does the battle end? How does it unravel? Sum it up.
Well, just very quickly to start with, you mentioned there the obsession with death. We think about radio stations. If you're broadcasting on Radio 1, you're not going to connect with Radio 2. It's on a different frequency. If you therefore are going to absorb energy, which is your sustenance, then you've got to get that energy on the frequency of Radio 1, your frequency. And the frequency of these people, by their very, very nature, because our frequency is dictated by our attitudes and everything, is low vibrational. It's the same frequency range as low vibrational human emotion. So the more that fear, anxiety, frustration, but anything that's surrounding death and destruction is generating the very energy from humanity that you are taking your sustenance from. This is why they're obsessed with death and everything to do with death. To them, you see, when you pepper bomb Tripoli, you're creating a vast explosion by what you do to those people and decent people.
Sure, it's blood in the water, so they're trying to create death and destruction.
Because that creates the very energy that they absorb. Love, appreciation, kindness, peace. These are energy frequencies that they can't access. This is why they don't want that in the world.
Well, that's why the television is designed to lower the overall brainwave.
Exactly, and the movies and all that stuff. But in terms of the end game, what they are looking for is a vastly reduced global population, vastly reduced, and that would be beyond what we perceive as slaves now. They would eventually be manipulated specifically. This was in Brave New World, Aldous Huxley, specifically bred to be slaves, to have enough intelligence to slave, but nothing like enough intelligence to realize that they're slaves in their situation, so they would just do it without question. They want a network of mind control, constant mind control, which they're now starting to bring in through these smart grids and these light bulbs, these so-called energy-saving light bulbs. What they are, actually, it sounds crazy, but it's not. They are transmitters of information. And, you know, in my new book coming out in January, I've quoted the scientists who've looked into the way of transmitting information through the electrical system, and they've explained how it's been done through this woodpecker signal that came out of the Soviet Union and through other means, even with the grid that we have now. And what the smart grids are with these smart meters, and I've just come from Australia, they're kicking up a fuss there. They're kicking up a fuss about them in California.
No, they admit they can cause cancer, so they can beam whatever frequency they want.
Exactly.
They're in your house, and they admit, it was on the news today, even San Francisco Chronicle, the smart meters can even with an algorithm tell what you're watching on TV.
Yes, exactly. And so this smart meter grid, this smart grid, which they want to connect in every country, and in every country connected to a global network, it is a purpose-built surveillance operation, so that they, like you quite rightly say, can see the fine detail of your lives through the communications with the operating center. But also, they
admit that, by the way. They admit they're putting up nationwide street lights that listen and videotape you.
Yeah, exactly. But the key thing beyond that is that they can send information the other way, and through this delivery system, which these light bulbs are a big part of it, they're delivering within the frequency range of human brain activity information which people are designed to decode as their own thoughts and perceptions. It's a mass mind control operation, and so there's so many elements to it. But what they want is this the population, human population, that comes into this world through not even procreation, as Brave New World talked about eventually, but through laboratory means, and where they are produced in batches. And
that's why they have to destroy our fertility, so we have to go to them to have them born in a laboratory where they can then put in the Trojan horses as they want, and you actually get a child that looks like you, but it's not even your child. You can see this program, this plan. David, promise me that before the new book comes out in January that you will join us again here on air. But in closing, because I got Mike Adams, waiting to come in here.
Yeah, Mike's a great guy. I love his stuff.
He's awesome, but I keep you for 10 hours. I would, but and I'm sorry that we didn't get your email till earlier with the phone number, crazy internet stuff. But in closing, all of this, though, to give hope from my gut is because the system is panicking and they have failed, and they're scared.
Well, this is the key point. You see, I make the very strong difference between what I call consciousness, which is the infinite, eternal self, and what I call mind-body, which is the interface. It's like a computer. It's like people say I'm going on the internet, but we don't go on the internet. The computer does, and we interact.
So even if they program us, our soul still knows.
Yeah. What I'm saying, what I'm going quickly with this. I know you're running out of time, but it's an important point. We go on the internet through the computer. Now, what if the computer started becoming detached from us sitting at the keyboard, and we were smacking the mouse and smacking the keyboard and nothing was happening, and now the computer is deciding where it's going on the internet and what he thinks of it? That is the dynamic of the human condition. The system is structured to pull us into five-sense reality only, and then program through eyes and ears information, which they control, our perception of reality. What is happening now, is that people are opening their minds and letting consciousness in to that perception process. And when they do, they can see things suddenly. Why didn't I see it before? It's so obvious. Well, because you're looking at the world from another level of consciousness now. This is what's happening. This is what they're terrified of, because they know if enough people do this, game over. Because they can only control us through body-mind. They can't control us through consciousness. And therefore,